Police confirm killing of trader in Bukuru as normalcy returns. 2 police officers killed as violent agitations rock River State over council's leadership. Amid a surge in sickle cell cases, premarital genotype testing is being promoted as a panacea. On the foreign scene, Kenya scraps most tax hikes from controversial bill. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. The Plateau State Police Command has confirmed the death of a trader, Nasir Abubakar, from a stray bullet fired by security personnel in Bukur. Abubakar was killed on Monday when the JMDB task force arrived Konkole Market to enforce the law prohibiting roadside trading, a situation that led to disruption of peace in the area. In a statement on Tuesday, the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alfred Alabo, said the incident occurred when all efforts to disperse some criminal elements failed and one of the personnel fired a warning shot into the air in an attempt to scare them away, leading to the death of a trader. The Plateau Command says it has restored normalcy in the Jos Bukuru metropolis after a violent attack on officials of the Jos Metropolitan Development Board.
Sani hakara asashi yanda muka sashi da
And now our reporter in the state is joining us via phone call to give us an update. Hello Adomusa, thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what's the update on the security situation in Bukuru at the moment?
Well, at the moment, normalcy has been restored because the State Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Adishina, has ordered the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operation to ensure adequate deployment of police personnel within Bukuru metropolis. The Commissioner also directed all the DPOs and area commanders of Jos South local government area to also intensify patrol, especially within Bukuru metropolis to forestall any breakdown of law and order. And a lot of residents from the community have also confirmed this development to me. So normalcy has been restored and the normal activities are also ongoing.
You have stated that normalcy has been restored and adequate deployment of security personnel has also been put in place. I'd like to hear from you. Is there a confirmation that an investigation into the killing of the trader is underway?
Well, in a statement issued this afternoon by the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, that the command has also, or rather the Commissioner of Police has also directed the Deputy Commissioner of Police to investigate the matter so as to arrest the perpetrators, particularly whom they felt that they have hijacked the situation. But there is no any particular investigation with regard to the killing of Nasir Abubakar. And this is so because, if you could recall, the police said that this victim was killed by a bullet fired by one of the security personnel attached to the task force. So there's no any investigation with regard to the killing of Nasir Abubakar. But generally, investigation into the matter has begun according to the State Police Command.
You have stated that investigation is underway, although there is no lead on the killing of Abubakar Nasir. I'd like to hear from you. What are the traders saying regarding the ban of their operations?
Honestly, traders have not been happy about this policy. They have been lamenting over the enforcement of this law. If you could recall, even last week we had a report where some women who do sell food at NTA Motor Park, they were crying and then lamenting that they don't have any place to go because this is the only place they know, and a lot of people, or rather they have been taking a lot of responsibilities. So if government insists that they must leave this place, they don't have anywhere to go. So a lot of traders between just north and just south, particularly areas that were affected, have been lamenting, and they have been calling on the government to rethink over this policy, because they say, looking at the level of unemployment in the country, they have struggled to at least become self-reliant, but this is what government is coming with. So they have been calling on government to rethink over the policy so that at least they will have something to live their life.
We do hope that this policy will be reversed in record time and traders be allowed to carry on their commercial activities. There we had Adomusa from Jos, who just gave us an update on the crisis in Bukuru. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara said he has uncovered plot to arrest some of his supporters who have risen up to resist the outgone local government chairman from remaining in office after their tenure has expired. The governor assured that he will fearlessly lead the way to ensure that peace continued to prevail in the state, while also protecting all patriotic supporters for their stand on the path of truth.
In continuation of the ongoing political saga unfolding in Rivers State, tensions reached boiling point with violent attacks and protests across many local council headquarters in the troubled state.
Chester, he's running. Check out. Look at me. He's running. Check out. Look at him. The man and his Chester are running. Look at them. They're running. They're running. Look at them.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara made a vow while addressing newsmen shortly after rising from a State Security Council meeting with heads of security agencies at the Government House in Port Harcourt on Tuesday. The governor emphasized that no grand plan to arrest such patriotic supporters on trumped-up charges will be tolerated. Governor Fubara stated that there is no extension of tenure of elected local government chairmen, while adding that the law is unambiguous on the matter, clarifying that the court has also affirmed the position of the law.
I am also aware that there is to come and arrest some of our supporters. This time around, you have to pass through me to arrest them, because I don't think there is anything that any of those people following us have done rather than stand on the side of truth. If it will cost us our life to stand on the side of truth, we will do that, and I will be the one that will lead this cause. Let me assure everyone, more especially the great and peace-loving people of Rivers State, the law is the law. The law has said that there is no extension of tenure.
On the other side of the political divide, some of the ousted chairmen accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara of masterminding an attack on them.
God is led by his chief of staff, anything they hear, and they're going local government, breaking local government secretariat, looting councils, looting personal properties in the name of governing a state. I say Governor Fubara is best for democracy. We are calling on Mr. President that this is the time for the Constitution of Nigeria to be upheld. The governor of Rivers State has brought back insecurity, full-blown.
Governor Fubara also explained that the Security Council meeting was called because of the recent threat to the peace of Rivers State by the outgoing chairman of the local councils in the state.
Still in Rivers State, 2 security operatives have reportedly lost their lives in the line of duty following the local government crisis rocking Rivers State. Though the details are still unclear, it was gathered, however, that the sad death which occurred in Omuma local government area on Tuesday might not be unconnected with the invasion of the council headquarters at Eberi Omuma. Confirming the incident, the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Eringe Koko, a policeman and a vigilante operative, lost lives in the crisis. When pressed for further details, she said investigations have commenced, adding that more details would be released soon. And now joining me in the studio to give an insight on the Rivers political crisis is the group political editor, Media Trust, Clement Aloyede. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you for having me.
It looks like the local government battle is now the new frontier for the ongoing crisis in Rivers State. I'd like to hear your assessment of the latest developments.
I think you've captured the essence of the ongoing developments with what you've just said by saying that is the new frontier. For those that have been following the development in Rivers for the past 8 or 9 months, knows that it's going to get to this stage. So it does not come as a surprise to most people that have been following this development. And what do I mean by this? We all know the way the local government administration is run in Nigeria, which means that it's under the control of the state government. The governors, even where we have elections, the governor is the one that most likely influence those that emerge as winners. So the outgone, let me use the word of the governor of Rivers State, the outgone chairman of the 23 local governments were elected during the tenure of the FCT Minister Yosan Wike, who is currently at loggerheads with the governor. And it's difficult for the governor to establish his stronghold in those local governments because the local government chairman control the structure of both the political party and the governance of the local government. So when the crisis at the assembly got to the level it got to, we remember that the Martin Samaule-led assembly that is loyal to the FCT minister vetoed some of the decision of the governor then. And one of those decisions was they passed a law that granted an extension, a tenure elongation to the local government chairman in a case where the governor is, or where the state is yet to conduct election. But the governor refused to assent to this bill, and the lawmakers vetoed, which means that they passed the law without the assent of the governor, which is allowed under the constitution. But the change, what now changed at the end of the day, I'm giving you the historical background of this. What changed at the end of the day is that while this was supposed to be the law, a court granted an order or an injunction saying that these lawmakers were never, that they had lost their seat, or rather that their seat was not, that they've lost their seat, rather to put that way, they've lost their seat when this matter was being conducted. And as such, the governor is hinging his directives, these latest directives on that the law they passed was an illegal law from onset. So if you put all these things together, they were just like you put at the earlier stage, that the local government now is the new frontier of the crisis because it's fight is still between loyalists of FCT minister and loyalists of the governor in the state.
Now, with all the ongoing litigations, do you see a political solution to the crisis?
Well, there is a two dimension to the issues in Rivers at the moment. There is the political dimension and there is the legal dimension. And what do I mean by this? The case is still in court. Of course, an high court has given a ruling which the state government is working on. But don't forget that those that are not satisfied with the ruling of the high court are allowed to go to the Court of Appeal. And I believe that I think from what I've gathered from some of the people that have been speaking, they've approached their Court of Appeal to speak, to adjudicate on this matter. So there is a legal aspect to it. If the Court of Appeal today says that the Martin Samaule-led assembly was a valid assembly, you see, that will mean that the law they passed is also a valid law, which means that the governor is wrong to have asked this chairman to go. But if the Court of Appeal agrees with the state government, is a done deal. And even if they go up to Supreme Court, so the matter can go as much as far as Supreme Court, if my knowledge of that area is correct. But the political aspect of it is this: there is nothing in Nigeria that cannot be politically settled, so to say. This is a fight that is just targeted at two things: control of the political structure of Rivers State, and the 2027 election is also in view with this, because whoever controls the political structure of Rivers State will definitely be the person that will be that person will be the go-to person for whoever wants to win any election in Rivers State come 2027. So the president has done it before in Ondo State when there was an impasse between the late governor and his deputy, who now becomes the governor. The president has done. Of course, some people argued that time that the president shouldn't have dabbled into this affair because it's a constitutional matter, is a legal matter. But the same thing can still play out in Rivers State. The president, who of course is not the member of PDP where the governor belongs, but the other party involved in this. Oh, and lest we forget the president that actually even intervened before. Right, recalled that when the crisis started at the earlier stage, the president brokered a peace deal which collapsed along the line. But if the president is interested in what is happening in Rivers, which it should be, because whatever, just like former President Goodluck Jonathan said, that if there is crisis in Rivers, it's cascade beyond even the south and cascade across Nigeria. So if the president is following what is happening, he might use his good authority and say, okay, because of the security situation, let's find an amicable way of settling this matter, and perhaps the political solution will now transcend to the legal solution. And what do I mean by this? If there's a solution at the political stage, those that are in court can be asked to withdraw the cases or to step aside the case and have an amicable solution. But whether or not there will be a political solution is something that is meant to be seen at the long run.
Thank you. Quite an elaborate analysis and insight there. There we had Group Political Editor, Media Trust, Clement Aloyede. Thank you so much for your insight on the news hour.
Thank you for having me.
Away from that, the approval of the National Assembly for the purchase of new aircrafts for the presidential fleet has been generating criticism from the public as Nigerians continue to decry the state of the economy. From political opposition figures like Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, who described the move as insensitive to Nigerians, the plan has come under heavy criticism despite government's pushback. Trust TV's Neil Sampson has more.
The federal government has faced heavy criticism over its spending plans, which many believe do not reflect the reality of Nigeria's economy. According to public commentator Elias Ugadu, it is unwise for the presidency to acquire new presidential jets costing billions of naira given the current economic situation. It suggests seeking alternative solutions instead.
Now, without even looking at how much it's going to cost the country to buy these two airplanes, we have to look at the economic conditions that Nigerians are surviving on. And it's so there. And in the middle of all this, to hear that we're going to expend billions of naira to buy new aircraft, to purchase new aircraft for Mr. President and his wives, is the height of gross insensitivity.
Speaking to some FCT residents, they expressed divergent reactions regarding whether a new presidential jet should be acquired or not.
For Nigeria government to afford one new brown private jet for our president, when the economy of the country is too bad, there is no improvement in the government, there is no improvement in the life of Nigeria.
I'm not in support, and I'm in support because you can't risk the president's life. That's another one, and that's not the major issue right now on ground. So we should fix what needs to be fixed, or probably let them fix the old one for the meantime.
I'm in support of the government, the federal government, to get a new private jet for the president, because it's not good to risk the life of the president as in the president of the country. So I'm in support of the federal government. They should make, if the money is there, they should get him a new private jet.
In support of Amo.
Why?
See many things where they happen for the nation, where people are hungry, no wages, increasement, they cannot make it above the 62, and they want to buy a presidential jet for president. So the nation is like the government, they don't know what this Nigeria is needed and what people are facing.
Nigerians are hopeful that the presidency will take the necessary and appropriate actions during this challenging time. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
To maintain the peace enjoyed in Kotonkarfi and its environs, The Kogi state government has announced a ban on all forms of procession in Kotunkarfi and neighboring communities. A statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, on Tuesday said the ban is aimed at curbing plans by some elements in the area to disturb the peace in the area, while restating the government's commitments to peaceful coexistence among all Kotunkarfi people. The statement assured that Governor Ododo will continue to operate an open-door policy that welcomes complaints and grievances rather than resort to violence. The statement urged all concerned to strictly abide by the ban, as violators will be treated as enemies of peace in the state. The 2024 edition of Ogun State's Festival of Color, Ojude Oba, is underway at the Oba Sikiru Adetona Pavilion in Ijebu-Ode local government area of the state. The festival, in its over a decade of existence, has continued to be a rallying point for Ijebu sons and daughters to appreciate the rich cultural heritage of the state. It has also ensured teamwork in the socio-economic and political development of the ancient town. About 76 different age groups are expected to pay homage to the traditional ruler to express their loyalty and respect for the monarch.
Telling me by the way, Emi ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú ọmọ alárẹ̀, ayé wo la ò jẹ rí, àríyá rẹpẹtẹ. Ìjẹ̀bú rọmọ ń wá. Jayoba, we done the ball with the represent. Olówó lọmọ ṣe yó, Ìjẹ̀bú lọmọ.
And to more stories, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tariq has assured that at the front line of the fight against insurgency in the northeast will be rewarded for their sacrifices towards national security. He gave the assurance during the Eid al-Kabir Salah luncheon with recuperating soldiers of Operation Hadin Kai and the commissioning of road and office projects at the May Malari cantonment.
It is his fourth visit to Maiduguri for another operational tour and under engagements. The Chief of Army Staff came to May Malari cantonment to commission 2 road projects and a headquarters complex. He later joined troops of Operation Hadinkai for a luncheon and later showed armories recovered during operations in Sambisa Forest and the Timbuktu Mountain. He said some of the logistics were refurbished and will be used at the war front. The Chief of Army Staff, while commending the troops for their sacrifice to protect the nation, assured of providing training, logistics, and support needed to combat terrorism.
Your sacrifices, seen and unseen, are the bedrock of our nation's security and prosperity. Your dedication is not unnoticed, and I assure you of my commitment to providing always the leadership you require to train, lead, and fight well. I salute your courage and resilience. Your efforts are crucial to our national security, and I assure you that your sacrifices will not go unnoticed.
The visit of the Chief of Army Staff will boost the morale of the war front troops in the battle to end insurgency in the northeast region.
More on security matters. Troops of Operation Safe Haven maintaining peace in Plateau and some parts of Bauchi and Kaduna states have been tasked to keep up the momentum for peace in the areas. The General Officer commanding 3 Division of the Nigerian Army and Commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdul Salami Abubakar, gave the task on Monday at the OPSH headquarters in Jos during this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration organized for troops of the operation. The troops were asked to intensify efforts to bring an end to the decades of ethno-religious conflict and other criminal activities in Plateau.
Your professionalism, courage, and determination to achieve our mandate is worthy of note and highly appreciated. While I acknowledge and applaud your efforts, I urge you not to relent, but remain focused in your task to consolidate the gains of our recent achievements. We must intensify our efforts to completely eradicate all acts of kidnapping, cultism, ethno-religious conflicts, and other forms of security threats within the states under command. I want to reassure you that our service chiefs will continue to do all that is necessary to provide you with the requisite leadership, welfare, as well as logistics to motivate you for effective and successful conduct of operations.
Still in Jos, public commentators and passengers in Jos, the Plateau State capital, have voiced their opinions on the recent introduction of the rail transportation system between Jos and Bukuru metropolis. Residents consider the initiative a welcome development, noting that the rail system will significantly improve transportation in the state. Adam Musa completes the report.
A month ago, Governor Caleb Mutfwang introduced a free rail transportation system between Jos North and Jos South, covering a distance of 3 stations. According to the state government, the introduction of the train aims to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal by the federal government, which has led to a high cost of living in the country. Passengers are expressing their views on the revival of the rail transportation system in the state.
The experience is amazing. It's one of a kind and top-notch. Yeah, I really want to appreciate Mutfwang and the railway people. Like, you guys are doing amazing. Thank you for bringing this medium of transportation. It is subsidized and it is helping us. Thank you so much. May God bless and increase you people and take Plateau State to a greater height.
I was given that 25 years ago, but I've not seen the train moving, and today I'm inside the train. So I'm so happy. I thought I wanted, if I'm entering as just looking for an inside, so that I'll give him a good handshake.
it's actually a good experience. It's fun because this is actually my first time going on a train to get ahead, and it's a nice initiative actually. If the government can maintain the assistance of train transportation here in Jos.
Professor Sabo Ahmad, a lecturer at the Medical School of the University of Jos and a public commentator, also shares his views on the introduction of the rail system in the state.
It is a form of transportation that takes care of mass movement of goods and people. So it is essential for any economy, whether it is a developing economy or already a developed economy. Its cost effectiveness is a reflection of the ingenuity of man in putting this machine on the rail. The fact that the governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, has taken a bold step in introducing train services within the metropolis is really commendable, because if we wait until a foreign investor comes with a lot of money to do it for us, we'll never get there.
So, what impact will the rail system have on transportation in Plateau State?
Not as of now, but eventually when it is improved upon and it becomes more regular, it will affect and bring down the cost of transportation. It's a question of demand and supply. When the supply of alternative transportation services like the train come into place, the tendency is that the forces of demand and supply will bring down the price. So that's what we think eventually. And the more we invite the private sector, the more sustainable it will become.
To an extent, it will affect transportation because it will bring succor to most of the passengers. But you know, train has its own route, and then other people who are traveling on other routes have their own routes too. But basically, it has bring succor, and then it has helped people on the plateau.
Rail transportation is one of the most efficient ways of transporting people and goods and promoting the economic development of a country. Residents, however, hope that the state government will ensure the adequate maintenance of the rail service in the state. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, have decried the worsening power supply situation in the country and its attendant impact on businesses that rely on power for survival. Speaking to Trust TV on the situation, some residents said many are losing their sources of livelihoods with the continuous deterioration in electricity supply vis-a-vis the biting economy of the present-day Nigeria. Jimmy Azande reports.
According to the residents, lack or inadequate power supply is one of the root causes of poverty in Nigeria. This is because most businesses depend on it to function, especially in urban settings.
If we don't address the root problems, because these startup businesses, apart from the taxes they are paying, they need energy to fund their businesses. So we already have on ground a well-known challenge that we don't have enough power being generated in the country.
The cost of petroleum for fueling of alternative sources like generators is made worse with the removal of fuel subsidy. Makurdi residents call this development a threat to small business holders and artisans.
Because electricity is a problem now. We are facing so many challenges in electricity. Sometimes they will give us light, they will flash it and take it. And our customers too, they are complaining of it.
How do I sell when there's no light? Because the person will tell me, how do I know it's working? The only way to assure the person is working is by testing it. So most gadgets I have here, electric stove, blender and the rest of them. When I want to sell, I need a power source to test run it.
Experts say alternative power sources are available, but too exorbitant for struggling entrepreneurs in the state.
The power situation in Makurdi and in particular, my area is very, very epileptic. We get light less than 8 hours a day. So whether you like it or not, you have to look for an alternative source of power, which is very expensive. Buying fuel to run generator for 8 hours, it's very expensive. Most families cannot even bear.
In most part of the town, residents rarely have access to power supply for the domestic use, let alone for business purposes. It is a sad development for many that despite the huge resources allegedly spent on power supply in Nigeria, major cities like Makurdi are still in darkness for the most part of every day. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Police authorities in Lagos State on Tuesday said they have rescued 3 FOUANI brothers whisked away in their boat by gunmen in the nation's commercial hub. 5 victims in total, 3 Lebanese, the boat captain and his assistant, were rescued in the Orubo-Ido area in Ekpe, Lagos. The police spokesperson in the state, Benjamin Hundeyin, explained that the victims were rescued on Monday night. Hundeyin, however, added that the police were not aware if any ransom was paid, adding that no suspect has been apprehended in connection with the kidnap. The 3 brothers identified as Abbas FOUANI, Yusuf FOUANI and Amtal FOUANI were abducted around 6 p.m. on June 14 in Lagos. The 3 brothers were said to have been returning from their factory by boat when they were abducted. Onto sad development, suspected gunmen have killed a security operative and 2 others in a fresh attack on Nnewi, Anambra State. The assailants engaged security operatives in a gun duel on Monday while operating in a red Highlander SUV. Disclosing this in a statement on Tuesday, the police public relations officer for Anambra Command, Tochukwu Ikenga, said the hoodlums were trolled by security operatives to Nobi after abducting 1 person in Nnewi. Ikenga said during the gun duel, one of the security operatives and 2 passers-by were fatally hit by bullets. He added that the police responding team at the scene recovered the bodies of the victims and took them to the hospital, where 3 of the victims, including a 22-year-old lady, were regrettably confirmed dead by the doctors on duty, while 2 others are currently receiving treatment. In a bid to hunt down attackers of police personnel and mitigate criminal elements in the state, the Imo State Police Command says it will rejig its patrol strength across the 27 local government areas of the state. Ajibade Praise tells us more.
As part of the rejigging effort, the command is deploying operational vehicles ranging from SUVs, space buses, armored personnel carriers to all divisional offices across the state. Commissioner Aboki said though the vehicles were formerly in a sorry state, but with the intervention of the governor, they have all been fixed and ready to serve. He maintained that with availability of the operational vehicles, they will launch out into the hinterlands and smoke out criminals from their hideouts. He said tactical units such as anti-kidnapping, tiger base, anti-cult, anti-vice, quick intervention team, among others doing well in the crime fight, will be empowered to do more.
We are meant to fight all the crime, criminality in Imo State, and crime will be reduced. Area command has been warned. It will only be used for crime control, no any other. No, it should not be used for any other apart from patrol system.
The governor on his part said he will continue to support the police and other security agencies in the state as part of his determined efforts to ensure the safety of lives and property of all law-abiding residents of the state.
Go into the field for operations. It is my hope that it will support and assist in that determined effort to remove crime from the society. I don't know, but I think it was very, very close to $500 billion Yeah, it is a professional issue. It's not about conviction anymore, it is determination that we want to fight crime.
A security expert, Frank Omere, who is equally involved in the homeland security activities, commended the governor's intervention and clamored for a collective fight against insecurity in the state.
If you must fight the people on this underworld, you must release equipment. And I want to personally tell you in Imo State that the executive governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, have really empowered the police.
The fight against armed separatists in the state has continued to keep the police on their toes as both government officials and security personnel are being targeted. The CP expressed optimism that they will win the fight against men of the underworld, given the current support from the people and government of the state. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Away from security and now to health matters, Nigeria has over 40 million carriers of sickle cell gene, with an estimated 150,000 babies born every year with the condition, with at least 100,000 babies dying before their 5th birthday. With the rise in the record of death of babies and adults, the significance of premarital genotype testing, a panacea, has been identified, as captured in this report by Trust TV's Amarachi Amoshi.
Sickle cell diseases is a struggle that many Nigerians have endured for years, as highlighted by the reports from the Sickle Cell Disorder Registry, Nigeria. The high birth and death rates associated with sickle cell diseases in Nigeria are a significant cause for concern. This disease not only brings numerous crises for patients, but also often leads to the breakdown of families with sickle cell sufferers. In light of this, many Nigerians are advocating for a broader perspective when choosing a life partner, suggesting that consideration should extend beyond love and tradition to include the potential impact on future generations.
My advice for people is that before you get married, no matter how the way you love that person, make sure you go for your genotype, for your test.
Residents of the FCT emphasized how sickle cell diseases can be mitigated and what the government can do to assist in this effort.
Yeah, I think just like every other diseases out there, it's better we start with awareness, let me put it that way. Government should have maybe more jingles on radios and television. Government should try to make provision for their treatment and every other thing they might need.
Religious leaders have also been reminded to advocate for genotype testing during marriage counseling and to ensure that couples undergo the test thoroughly.
In terms of religion, the pastors during marriage counseling, that's what they used to call it. They're supposed to educate them before getting married, and if possible, check whether they have already done the test. Amid
this economic crisis and financial stability in Nigeria, an FCT resident suggests that the government improve treatment for financial disadvantaged individuals living with sickle cell diseases.
The way out is just our government should just help us, and if it is by deducting money from their account, maybe someone that is standing for the person, maybe deducting the money in their account every month, maybe by month end.
Speaking to a lab scientist, he described the sickle cell disease genotype as one of the biggest causes of family breakdowns in Nigeria, noting that it also consumes significant financial resources.
We've seen several cases whereby marriages are being break down as a result of this scourge called sickle cell disease due to some economic implications. When you have a patient like that in the family, it takes more of your finances, it takes more of your mental well-being. So it is advisable and it is expedient as well that every intending couple should ensure that genotype testing is done.
Creating more awareness about the importance of premarital genotype testing and making it a compulsory law before marriage registration or copulation will play a vital role in reducing the incidence of sickle cell disease in Nigeria. Amarachi Amoshi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Durbas are a colorful thread woven into the fabric of northern Nigeria's cultural history. With famous Durbas in Kano, Sokoto, Katsina, Bida, Akko Emirates, among many others, the event is characterized by a rich display of cultural extravaganza. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim, currently in Kwara State observing the Eid festivities, was at the Ilorin Emirate Grand Durbar and brings us this piece.
As the Durbar begins, the Emir leads the entourage through the streets and designated routes in the city, waving to his subjects in a chariot amid a grand singing and dancing procession in company of horsemen. The Durbar is held to mark significant Islamic festivals such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. It is also held in honor of visiting dignitaries or to celebrate other important events. The Ilorin Durbar used to be celebrated in a smaller scale. However, in 2018, the current Emir, Sheikh Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, upgraded the event to a grand Durbar to unite Ilorin sons and daughters all over the world.
The purpose for which the Emir established this grand Durbar is to bring unity, to strengthen the unity among Ilorin people. Young, old, in or out, wherever you may be, recognize yourself as Ilorin, behave like Ilorin people, and also act as an Ilorin person.
Durbar is a part of the Northern Nigerian heritage. So we use that one to bring home all the children and daughters of Ilorin once in a year, so that they be able to promote the tradition and culture.
Based on our motto, we say for the love of our people. So the tradition, this thing is used to come up once in a year, and all these things about the tradition, what our forefathers, what they usually do, how they usually do it. That's why it's used to bring everyone together. So in fact, this thing is very, very, very interesting.
Aside the procession around town, other prominent activities during the Durbar is a display of horsemanship, cultural exhibition, and music and dance. While the Durbar remains one of the few means of preserving the culture and traditions of northern Nigeria, concerns remain about younger Nigerians and even Africans losing connection with their roots. Why?
It's just the globalization. is globalization, because they can sit in the comfort of their room to watch other cultures. And of course, we are not placing our own before them. Indeed. Before the current cultural misplacement, we do have our ways of doing things. And that is why we decided to put this one in place, so that during Salah like this, they can now have an insight into what our culture is.
Despite all of these, the Durbar remains one of northern Nigeria's display of prestige, royalty, cultural richness and horse riding heritage, filled with colors and a marvel to behold. From Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Sagir Ibrahim for Trust TV News.
In business, Nigeria's trade surplus with countries in the economic community of West African states has risen by 216% year-on-year to 1.14 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. Analysis of foreign trade data for quarter 1 24 released by the National Bureau of Statistics showed that Nigeria's export to ECOWAS countries rose to 1.25 trillion naira in quarter 1 24 from 399.19 billion naira in quarter 1 23. On the other hand, Nigeria's import from ECOWAS countries rose by 167% to 113.4 billion in quarter 1 24 from 42.296 billion naira in quarter 1 23. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that Nigeria's main trading export partners within the ECOWAS region in the quarter are Ivory Coast, 744.59 billion naira, Senegal, 361.29 billion naira, Benin, 55.67 billion naira, Togo, 38.1 billion naira, and Ghana, 33.75 billion naira, altogether representing 98.61% of total exports to ECOWAS countries. The Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigeria Customs Service are set to receive $10 million for technical assistance as part of the $750 million Nigeria Accelerating Resource Mobilization Reforms Program for Results project. This project is part of the broader $2.25 billion approved by the World Bank for Nigeria on June 13, 2024 to boost reforms in the country. The ARMOR project includes results-based financing of $730 million and $20 million in investment financing. The FIRS will receive $5 million to enhance its operations and revenue collection capabilities, including developing a robust third-party data sharing platform, administrative control programs, a VAT lottery system, and an e-invoicing system. The NCS will receive $5 million to enhance its administrative processes and improve compliance. The ARMOR program aims to implement tax and excise reforms, strengthen tax and customs administrations, and safeguard oil and gas revenues by increasing transparency and net revenue contribution. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived Pretoria, South Africa for the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa for a second term in office. Tinubu had departed from Lagos at 11:06 a.m. on Tuesday for Pretoria. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and other dignitaries saw Tinubu off at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja. Recall that the ruling African National Congress lost its majority seats in Parliament in recent national election in South Africa, forcing the anti-apartheid era party that has governed South Africa since 1994 to share power with Democratic Alliance and other opposition parties in a government of national unity arrangement. Other African leaders and global leaders are expected to attend the inauguration ceremony on Wednesday. Away from Nigeria, Kenya's government on Tuesday walked back plans to impose multiple tax hikes. The presidency said announcing amendments to a controversial bill that sparked angry protests. Hundreds of mostly young demonstrators assembled near Parliament on Tuesday, with police firing tear gas and making arrests. Hours later, the presidency announced that it would scrap many of the bill's most contentious provisions, including taxes on bread and car ownership. The new taxes contained in the finance bill were expected to help the cash-strapped administration generate some 346.7 billion shillings, an equivalent of $2.7 billion, to boost revenue and cut government borrowing. In addition to the proposed motor vehicle tax, the amendments will also do away with increased taxes on financial and mobile services. Parliament must pass the final version of the bill before June 30.
Wacha kunawa ndio unaongeza. Usinawe.
Still on the foreign scene, and to a sad development, at least 4 people were killed and 120 injured Tuesday in a 4.9 magnitude earthquake that hit Iran's northeastern city of Kashmir, state media reported. Kashmir's governor, Hajatullah Sharia Madari, who gave the casualty toll, said on state television that 35 people were hospitalized, adding that the quake damaged mostly dilapidated buildings in urban and rural areas of the city. State television aired footage of the aftermath of the quake, showing first responders working in a street where all buildings were reduced to rubble. The United States Geological Survey said the earthquake hit at a depth of 10 kilometers. Iran sits atop various tectonic plates and is often hit by earthquakes. A 5.9 magnitude quake early last year killed 3 people and injured over 800 at the country's mountainous northeast near the border with Turkey. And in one of the world's deadliest disasters, a 6.6 magnitude earthquake killed over 31,000 people in Iran's southeastern city of Bam in 2003. We'll now join Adeni Ajishafe for some sports news.
Nigeria made history, winning bronze medal at 2024 Shofken World Polo Championship held in Baku, Azerbaijan. Chairman, African Region of International Shofken Federation and President of Nigerian Polo Federation, Nura Sani Kangiwa, said Nigeria drew 1-1 with Uzbekistan to secure the bronze medal, gaining enough points from previous matches to claim third place. The victory marks a significant milestone for Nigeria's Shofken team, showcasing their talent and determination on the international stage. And in athletics, Sport Development Minister John Owa Eno has said the ministry will lead Team Nigeria's athlete to Douala, Cameroon, for Confederation of African Athletes CAA Senior Championship, which begins on the 21st of June 2024. The minister made this known in Benin City while addressing athletes and officials of Athletics Federation of Nigeria (AFN) at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium on Monday. He assured athletes that as the Sports Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he owes it as a duty to lead from the front and ensure their progress. Senator Eno praised the athletes and officials of AFN board for doing so well at the African Games and CAA Zone Championship in Accra, Ghana, where they placed fourth overall, and pledged that their journey to Douala would be stressless. Meanwhile, world record holder Tobi Amusan won the women's 100-meter hurdles in a time of 12.78 seconds. Adelbi Tabubo second in 13.33 seconds. And Faith Osamoye third with 13.52 seconds. Alexander Chizon Chukwelu won the men's 110 meters hurdles title in 10.92 seconds ahead of Musa Great Wisdom, who ran 13.44 seconds, while Ogireka Martins Osariahi ran 13.77 seconds. The long jumpers had a good outing as they recorded improved performance, with Emmanuel Unjoku out to a massive personal best of 8.00 meters. The long jumpers had a good outing as they recorded improved performance, with Emmanuel Unjoku out to a massive personal best of 8.00 meters. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
You're up to speed with some of the latest emerging and reimagined stories in Nigeria and beyond. And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour tonight on Trust Television. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Aisha Saliu. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.